Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit is on the chopping block. Finally, this problematic roller coaster built by Mauer AG, which opened in 2009, is going. But we kinda knew that news was coming. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Gotta Go Orlando. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the recent update which came out on the 27th of December about Rip Ride Rockit at Universal Studios Florida. Yes, it will be closing in September 2025. But before we start delving into the recent details released, let's take a quick look back on Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit. Initially codenamed Project Rumble, the ride was announced in March 2008, with construction beginning in May 2008. The coaster features a 167-foot vertical lift hill and reaches speeds of 65 miles per hour. Also, Rip Ride Rockit includes multimedia features such as rider selectable music, onboard video recording and LED lights, and possibly the most blocked sections in Florida. Originally slated to open in spring 2009, delays pushed the opening back to August 2009 due to issues with the anti-rollback devices on that vertical lift hill. Even after opening, the ride experienced various technical issues, including sporadic multimedia malfunctions, slow loading times, and a rough ride, particularly in the back seats. A significant closure occurred in September 2010 due to concerns about the train's coupling bars, and refurbished trains led to its reopening later that year. Yes, one of Universal's tallest roller coasters is going. This will make way for, I quote, a new experience which Universal will release more details on later. Well, we have spoken about this in past videos, and it's no surprise that Rip Ride Rockit will be removed and replaced with a new roller coaster / attraction soon. Over 2023, we've seen physical evidence that the ride was undergoing a wind down process, with the music playlist being reduced to one song per genre. You had the following choices: rock, Welcome to the Black Parade by My Chemical Romance; pop, Waterloo by ABBA; country, Man I Feel Like a Woman by Shania Twain; hip hop, Humble by Kendrick Lamar; and electric, Sandstorm by Darude. There was also a hidden code accessible playlist, and the on-ride filming was removed. All this was to simplify the rider's experience. Apparently, some of the other key points that point towards the ride being removed was the artwork in the form of a banner was removed in preparation for a hurricane and was never put back. High maintenance costs. It hasn't been running at capacity for a long time, which means longer wait times. And another fact is the ride is entwined in court action due to a member of the public being injured due to the smoothness of the experience. And I'm sure all these factors are the reason why Universal wants to remove this roller coaster, and quickly. So in this video today, we are discussing the up and coming closure of Rip Ride Rockit and what we think the future holds for this area, and most importantly what we think will be replacing the Rip Ride Rockit. So if you're interested, stick around. We know big changes are heading to Universal Studios, and the changes have already started, with Minions Land, the brand new DreamWorks Land, the brand new Movie Parade, and the sensational Lagoon Show. So we now know that Rip Ride Rockit will close in September 2025. As of recording this video, we don't have an official date, but the good news is you still have some time to get some last rides in, even if it's not your number one roller coaster, unless something really dramatic happens to the ride itself, i.e. the ride system was to go down and it would cost too much to repair, which Universal won't want to spend the money on, being so close to its removal. The one thing I really hope is whatever replaces Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit will have the same impact on the skyline. As for me, that vertical lift hill is iconic, especially that Universal Studios don't have any tall structures or coasters in the skyline, as all the other attractions are internal. But we will talk more about what we think is coming a little later on in this video. So what do we know so far? What is Universal planning for the site? The project is known as Project 830 and the site size is 6.27 acres, which is listed as in review, and this has to be reviewed and approved or denied by the 22nd of January 2025, or be extended should more information is needed. Much like Walt Disney World and the Magic Kingdom Cars project at Frontierland. But if all goes well, we should be seeing new documentation very soon. According to the permits filed with the South Florida Water Management District recently, there is a before and after image of the project site. We can at least see two large buildings located in the New York section of Universal Studios Florida. The first will be in the back of house section near Soundstage 24 of the park and staff parking area. This building seems to be the largest of the two in footprint. It's also a great location for access for ride maintenance and ride vehicle storage, with the staff car park running alongside it, and it not being visible by the public from inside the theme park. The second building will be located at the rear of the Ghostbusters Firehouse facade, which is the original entrance to Ghostbusters Spooktacular show from the 1990s, and it also takes over the extended queue area for Race Through New York starring Jimmy Fallon. But it's important to note that the Firehouse facade is staying, with documentation stating that work will be carried out on restoring this facade. For me, this building could be a new ride or attraction loading platform / station and themed queuing area, and we're not sure whether this building is an extension to the existing buildings that are on site already. The fact that we haven't heard that the Ghostbusters Firehouse facade is being removed is a possible clue to the possible theme of the new attraction, but I guess we'll just have to wait. I know some rumours were flying around for a Back to the Future coaster as well, but really who knows. I mean, it's not even 100% for a roller coaster type attraction. So let's take a look at some of the other details on them permits filed on December 23rd, 2024. The permits show the project and its location to possible impacts to the Florida water system, hence why at the entrance of the park, where Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit turns around and heads back to the station, you can see a permit for a slit barrier fencing installation and drainage. Slit fences act as a temporary barrier fabric used to retain erosion and silt and other sediments from polluting nearby water systems, rivers, drains and sensitive environments. Sediments such as sand, silt and clay are considered as pollutants in stormwater runoff systems. Slit fences act as a vertical permeable interceptor for areas exposed to sediment-laden waters. So to simplify this is a fence designed to stop any of the building materials and clay and sediments getting into the water system, drainage and lagoon of City Walk. The rest of the document submitted shows the overall perimeter area of the new project, which is pretty much in the footprint of Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit, with the exception of the building next to Soundstage 24 and the staff car park. Also, the permit does earmark the work as improvements. These documents are for the removal of Rip Ride Rockit and construction of a new attraction, and are written on the documentation as removal of existing attraction and replace with proposed attraction, so it's definitely happening. Now let's move on to the impact to Universal Studios. Yes, you're going to lose Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit from the end of 2025 through to 2026 and onwards, which is sad as it is one of the main roller coasters in Universal Studios. But you still have the Mummy, Harry Potter and the Escape to Green Grots, and most importantly Trolls Troller Coaster. And as for them pesky work walls, Most of the ride restricted area sits behind buildings and that main stage, so you'll most likely see work walls sitting at the original tribute store across to the Ghostbusters firehouse, both sides of the main stage between Race Through New York starring Jimmy Fallon and Illumination's Minion Land, and across the Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit station to the front of the park where that slit fence will be installed just across from City Walk Lagoon. And as for cranes and staging areas, there's plenty of space around the sound stages, but how this will affect HHN 34 we'll just have to wait and see. Even if we are getting an extra house or houses, is this just to compensate the loss of Rip Ride Rockit, or is it to help get more people coming over from Epic? It has been rumoured for many years that Rip Ride Rockit would be removed, even more so over the past couple of years, but now we have seen the notice of commencement. It is set in stone. This recent documentation also shows that the contractor for the project is Intamin. It's not the first time that Universal have worked with Intamin. In 2019, Hagrid's Magical Creatures motorbike adventure in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Hogsmeade. In 2014, Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts, Diagon Alley. 2021, Velocicoaster. More recently, Hiccup's Winged Gliders at Epic Universe, which is opening this year, and also over at Universal Studios Hollywood for the new Fast and the Furious Hollywood Drift Coaster. So we can definitely say that Universal have an amazing relationship with Intamin. Some rumours were pointing to us getting a version of the Hollywood Drift or a new Back to the Future coaster. But now with the new details coming to light, the location of the ride buildings, possible ice blue track spotted at an Intamin factory in Europe, the fact that the Ghostbusters firehouse is being restored, it all kind of points to this new attraction or roller coaster being themed to Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. But this is just a guess and it's not 100% fact. So now let's talk about what we possibly could be getting. At first, before the documentation came to light, I was hoping for a Mock Rides Extreme Spinning Coaster, but that went out the window as soon as the documentation mentioned Intamin as the contractor. So looking at all the different types of roller coasters they have in their catalogue, and what already sits at Islands of Adventure and soon will open at Epic Universe, what could Intamin and Universal be planning, as I'm sure they won't want to have a similar coaster to what they already have at Universal Parks in Orlando. I mean, a Velocicoaster 2 with a Ghostbusters overlay would be pretty silly. Then you look at the space that they have got, it's not crazy big. And when I say this, I mean it's not a good space to have a space-filling lift hill, obviously excluding the vertical one they have now. So what could Intamin offer that's new and a different experience? But then I think what would be a good nod to Rip Ride Rockit as well, and a fast throughput to get them long wait times down. And the one coaster that sticks out to me is the Intamin Vertical Launch Coaster. As you can see in the concept here, it has that blue track, much like what we've seen in Europe. It's also quite compact, so it will fit within the area marked on the permits. And it would have that top hat vertical lift hill, but with a launch and an optional stall at the top. And as you can see in this concept, it offers some new experiences and elements that Universal Islands of Adventure, Universal Studios and Epic Universe don't have as yet. But this is just me throwing ideas about. Nothing has been mentioned about the ride type in permits as yet. Do you guys have any other ideas? Comment down below. You know what, it might not be the best coaster in the world, but me and Emma have happy memories, and I'll always remember my first time, even if it was only 3 years ago. I remember seeing the TV ads, being excited to ride it for the first time, the total panic of picking what song, the excruciating long wait times, and jumping into my ex-car whilst it's constantly moving along that conveyor belt. It will be sad to see it go, but I'm excited to see what will be replacing Rip Ride. I just hope the new coaster or attraction, whatever it will be, will have new experiences, great storytelling, thrilling elements, and theming and effects. Yes, an attraction with a full package. And if it is going to be a launch coaster, it will be very interesting to see how the new attraction will compare to the Velocicoaster, Pipeline, Icebreaker, Tigress and all the other launch coasters we have ridden in the past. And now with this big project starting to move, what will the future for Universal Studios be? Is the tide turning for Universal Studios? Will it be turning back into its former glory of a true studio park, packed with movie themed rides, but good ones? Please, no more party buses. What's your thoughts about this news? Are you happy to see Rip Ride Rockit being removed? Let us know in the comments down below. For even more updates, check out our website gottagoorlando.com. that covers everything that's happening here in Orlando, Florida. Don't forget to smash subscribe and like and share with your friends and family, as this really helps the channel grow. Now get out there and go and make some memories, and all I can really say right now is TikTok, gotta go Orlando guys, and don't forget about these two videos right here, and Happy New Year.